After facing domestic violence charges against his former girlfriend, Greg Hardy saw his NFL career go down the drain. Soon after, he turned to UFC fights, but after a less than stellar record and 3 consecutive losses, he's now trying his hand at pro boxing. Want to know more about Greg Hardy's boxing debut? Keep watching for all the details. Let's begin. First up, former NFL player turned UFC fighter to make boxing debut. Any amateur footballer's goal is to qualify for the NFL and make their big league dream come true. Others aim to make pro fighting debuts in the UFC or become a pro boxer, but there's someone who's been trying to do all 3. Though not exactly by choice, Greg Hardy is set to become a professional boxer, but only after losing out on his previous career choices. Back in April 2009, Hardy was named the top prospect for the NFL draft in 2010. While certain situations meant that his stock fell, he was still signed to the Carolina Panthers after being selected in the 6th round as the 175th pick overall. Simply put, he was someone looking to make a great start in the biggest football league in the world. In 2013, he had his big break as he broke a team record with 15 sacks and was picked for the 2014 All-Pro Bowl and the second-team All-Pro by the Associated Press. Unfortunately, that was where his career came to a crashing stop after he was arrested for domestic violence against his former girlfriend. After one game for the Panthers in 2014, he ended up being removed, and his NFL career came to a standstill after a bad year with the Dallas Cowboys, and he soon turned to UFC fighting, years before he would make his boxing debut. And now, Greg Hardy moves to pro boxing after being removed from the UFC roster. Even if the charges against Greg Hardy ended up being dropped, there's really no denying the allegations after Deadspin released police photographs of finger marks on his ex-girlfriend's neck. Even if players and coaches tried to intervene, he was cut off by Panthers owner Jerry Richardson, and he showed bad results with the Cowboys. Completely exiled from the NFL, Hardy started training to become an MMA fighter, even though he had no experience with it. Making his amateur debut in 2017, he won all 3 fights before moving on to win against Austin Lane on Dana White's Contender Series 9, which resulted in a UFC contract. Unfortunately, that's where his luck ran out. After ending his contract with 3 consecutive losses via knockout, he was not re-signed. He ended his short UFC career with a record of 7-5 and won no contest. But it seems that Hardy is nothing if not determined, and the Prince of War has already announced yet another career change to try his hand at boxing. Next, Hardy to try his hand at yet another professional sport. If Greg Hardy isn't exactly the best at anything, his tenacity is still admirable. One would think that after such bad endings to 2 careers, he might give it a rest, but soon after becoming a free agent early in 2022 after his UFC contract ended, he decided to become a professional boxer. It looks like he'll do anything that lets him throw punches. Back in 2018, there was a lot of controversy when Dana White officially signed Hardy as a UFC heavyweight because, apart from the domestic violence charges, he was also found to have cocaine in 2016. But it looks like White wasn't too bothered by it because he was set on trying to make Hardy a big star. Either he didn't have the skills fighters spend years honing or lacked experience, Hardy certainly didn't live up to the hype. His lackluster career really didn't seem to faze him, if his new career direction is to indicate anything. He's intent on chasing his dream, which seems to change every few years. Just a few days ago, he posted a picture that was an unofficial announcement for his fans. We'll see if he has any better chances this time. An NFL washout and former UFC fighter turns to pro boxing. A few days ago, Greg Hardy announced yet another career change, less than 3 months after his UFC bout ended. He posted a picture of himself wearing boxing gloves, with a caption that said he had his dream locked in sight and all he had to do was pull the trigger. MMA Fighting confirmed his transition soon after. His debut is set for October 8th, with no opponent having been announced at the moment. He'll be throwing his hat in the ring on Delray Beach in Florida. It'll take place at the Delray Beach Tennis Center and is being promoted by Black Sheep Boxing. Maybe with the experience he got while fighting in the cage, he'll fare better this time around. It's a point of controversy whether he deserves so many chances, but even if we take a look at the NFL, it's obvious that the fact that he wasn't very good played a part in how his situation was handled. For one, the higher-ups are suspiciously quiet this time around over the allegations against star quarterback Deshaun Watson. Or maybe it depends on the team, as while the Panthers owner was intent on doing the right thing, Hardy was still signed with the Dallas Cowboys as a free agent, and it was his own performance that ended his career. It remains to be seen what his pro boxing career will look like. Now, in other news, former UFC heavyweight Juan Adams. Juan Alejandro Arciniego Adams is an American mixed martial arts fighter who formerly competed in the Ultimate Fighting Championship and is currently a competitor in the heavyweight division of the Aries Fighting Championship. It might be a bit of a stretch, but Adams could become a millionaire by the year's end if things go in his favor. The fighter announced on Wednesday that he's contracted with the PFL as a heavyweight alternate. Someone will need to withdraw for him to get a shot at fighting and earning points for a playoff spot where he'd have a chance to compete for the $1 million grand prize. Adams posted on Facebook saying that he signed a contract with PFL as an alternate, so if anyone is unable to fight, he would fight fight in his stead. Either way, in Atlanta on June 23rd, he would observe and reflect. The second heavyweight fights of the season will take place during 2022 PFL 5 on June 24th at Overtime Elite Arena, Atlanta. After Adams was released by the UFC under the Fury FC banner, he went 4-1. In his latest fight this past February at Fury FC 56, he won against Aaron Rosa by first-round TKO. Next, NFL continues turning a blind eye toward Deshaun Watson allegations. Derek Deshaun Watson is a quarterback for the Cleveland Browns of the NFL. Currently, he is in the midst of one of the largest controversies in the history of the league. If someone pays attention only directly to the NFL or Cleveland Browns, they'd never know that new allegations are still coming in against Deshaun Watson. The former employer of Watson is now listed as a defendant. The Houston Texans organization and others as defendants have been added to the lawsuit by lawyer Tony Busby, who is representing the 24 women suing Watson for sexual misconduct. Tony Busby claims that in many of the cases, the Texans provided the opportunity for the misconduct to occur. The NFL has been investigating Watson's case for allegedly the last 15 months. Despite this, there seems to be no end in sight, and all through this process, they have refused to comment on the investigation. This can be considered fair for an investigation lasting a few months. However, this investigation has lasted way over a year. Calvin Ridley was suspended for an entire season for gambling, and Ray Rice and Greg Hardy were suspended during their investigations on scandal and violence allegations. However, it's unclear why Watson was allowed to participate in football activities without restrictions during his 15-month investigation. Lastly, Dana White says Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler fight makes sense. Conor McGregor will soon be ready to return from his medical recovery, and fans are already anticipating his next fight. The fighter was sidelined due to a broken leg he suffered in a match against Dustin Poirier, which he lost back in July 2021. He is expected to make his return at the end of this year or by the start of the next one. There has been drama stirring up recently surrounding UFC, as McGregor and Jorge Masvidal go back and forth on social media. Due to this, many people think that the matchup ahead will be between them, but Dana White seems to be of a different opinion. He stated that instead of Masvidal, McGregor should go up against Michael Chandler, as to him it made a lot of sense. Having recently won 2 of his 4 Octagon appearances, Chandler is currently ranked number 5 and has developed himself a steady fan base following action-packed fights. He is also one of the top runners for KO of the year after his fight against Tony Ferguson, which he won with a brutal kick. Conor's last fight saw him ranked not far behind Chandler at number 8, hence why White thinks they are a good matchup. That's a wrap for this video. Will you be supporting Greg Hardy in his new career? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.